Hello, everyone. My name is JD Calderon, and this is Indy Comics Explained. And yet again, I brought another fantastic group of independent comic book creators. So please hit like, hit subscribe, share the video, let everyone know we're here. And I got this guy.
Yeah, what's up, brother? I am JD Rosario from Unstoppable Comics. Been making comic books since 2008. Been hanging out with this guy a little less time than that, but in that time, we have met a bunch of talented creators. And I am sure you've got some of those faces on tonight. Yep. So why don't you bring them on, bro?
Like this guy.
Sure. Ditto.
Right.
Ditto.
Come on, you didn't like the intro, baby? Come on.
It's all you never know what you're gonna get with the JD Rosario introduction. But the one thing you're gonna get is Calderon is gonna move as quickly as he can. Rosario is gonna take his own sweet time. So somewhere in the middle is me, Tom Hutchison, Big Dog Indy Comics. 16 years of making comics for me. And that's it. That's all you need to know.
All right, cool. All right. On to the guests. What's up, Rob?
Hey, how's it going? Tom just likes to pull the Patrick Swayze ditto.
There you go.
I'm Rob Multari from Lone Wolf Comics. I'm the creator and writer of Nightwolf and Snowpaw. And I'm short and sweet and to the point.
Very nice. Very nice.
No, that's Sabrina Carpenter, short and sweet.
There you go.
Fair enough. And she also owes me an espresso.
What's up, David? Please introduce yourself.
Hey, everybody. I'm David Whalen, Correct-Handed Comics, correcthandedcomics.com. I have multiple books out, a couple 100-plus page graphic novels, a few one-shots, a 4-issue miniseries. But my flagship title, The Offspring, just hit issue 35, and I'm probably, fingers crossed, snow blizzards and everything pushed out of the way, I'm going to get issue 36 out in February.
All right. Very nice. Very nice. Up next, what's up, Sean?
Hey, I'm Sean Wood. I've been around for a little close to 3 years. I'm doing the Fog Within series, doing the volume 1 today. I've also been doing Recon the Little One and also the Scaled Key in my other series.
All right. Very nice. Very nice. All right. Gentlemen, I'm pretty sure you all saw the show question.
Nope.
All right. Well, here it is. Has Kickstarter abandoned the small press creator? That's us. And what can we do to reverse the situation? Right. So that's the question. So, all right.
Is that sucks in parentheses?
Well, no, I said that's us.
Oh, yeah. I thought you said that sucks.
No, it does suck, but it is us, but we last man in, first man up, Sean.
Oh man, I knew I was gonna be first. They definitely have. They're going for the money because they're a business too. It's definitely harder for if you're doing your first one, because the closer we are in this economy and everything, it's difficult, but all of us at least have been doing it for a little while. We have an audience, so we're just building off of those audiences. The way I've been trying to combat it a little bit anyways is trying to do other series to make other audiences come together and see everything that I'm doing. And then of course always the podcast like we're doing here. But that's really all I've got is different audiences, trying to do like backer kit launch, trying to get more awareness out there, trying different things like that. That's really all I've got, honestly.
All right, cool. David, I know you don't go through Kickstarter.
Yeah, well, I'm in a unique position. I'm a one-man band, so I haven't yet, but I will say, and some of you guys already know these guys, I'm a part of the elite group of comic creators called the Cosmos. And I decided that it was time for me to start doing Kickstarters. I'm in, like I said, a unique position. It's not going to make or break me. If it works, it's great. If it doesn't, great. But being pretty new to it, we thought, hey, let's make this part of the show that we put on every second and fourth Wednesday of the month and just kind of walk through the process of a Kickstarter. So that's what we've been doing on the Cosmos. So I'll tell you in about probably 3 or 4 months. We'll probably get it up next month and get the month of it being up, and then I'll let you know how successful it was, the pros and the cons, the yeses and the nos. But really, like I said, being a one-man band, the only thing it cost me is time. So anything that happens on Kickstarter is really just a positive, because more eyes on the book. Right, just like Sam was saying, that the whole point is to get as many eyes on your book as possible. So even in these tight times, if it doesn't 100% fly, my hope is more eyes on the book that will bring people to my website, bring people to my social media, to be able to see what I'm doing and hopefully dig it.
All right, cool. Rob, what are your thoughts?
I have a different opinion than Sean. I don't think Kickstarter necessarily gives up on us. I feel like Kickstarter doesn't really matter as far as what they do for us, because Kickstarter is the venue. If you don't invite the guests to the party, they're not coming. And I learned that the hard way. My first campaign, back in 2016, I didn't have an audience and I didn't fund. Then I started doing it on my own, built up an audience, going to Comic-Cons, came back with issue 3. And, my audience is what got me there, not Kickstarter. Kickstarter, again, is just the avenue. You got to, fill it.
All right. Fair enough. Tom, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I don't want to be on shows with Rob anymore, because my hot takes aren't as hot when he gives the exact same take that I have. So,
well, I mean,
no, but in all seriousness, I have one question before I can even really answer, because this is a new question for me. Has there been some sort of communal thought process that Kickstarter has abandoned small press people that I have missed somewhere?
Probably.
Well, I mean, you're either talking out of your ass, or you actually have seen something.
Well, I haven't. Well, always talking out of my ass. But aside from that point, from looking at what I've been seeing, for the last few years, that they're primarily focused on the higher end, campaigns. When we're talking about, the guys doing Transformers and G.I. Joe and all that stuff. And to Rob's point, obviously they're business like everybody, like their business, they have their own business to push forward. Then you have the middle grade guys like Bad Bug, Pat Shan, those guys, right, where they're somewhere in the middle, and they seem to get somewhat of a push.
Okay, stop. Stop. I know where you're at right now. Okay,
right.
Here comes the real hot take.
Go ahead.
Kickstarter doesn't owe you anything. Right. That's the reality. Kickstarter owes you zero, other than a functional website, right? Mm-hmm. As far as you in this case, you JD, I don't know if anybody else is saying this, but you just said it. As far as the thought process of their focusing on the higher end things, how are they focusing on that when they aren't really active in even going out and telling people that they exist? Like, they're not going anywhere and saying, come use Kickstarter. No one is fucking out there saying, come use Kickstarter. It's just that guys like Dynamite, Nick Barucci, and all these guys have figured out what we've already known and we've already seen with like Boom, because Boom has done Power Rangers, things like that. These guys are just figuring out that this is another sales channel, just like Rob said, right? It's just another sales channel. Yes, when it first came in, it was crowdfunding. It was for the guys that need the money to make the thing. Yes, it still is that, but it is also now a gigantic sales channel, pre-order system that has been used by Top Cow and Todd McFarlane, and like it's like it just doesn't matter who's there. And to me, if McFarlane and Boom and Dynamite and Transformers want to be on this platform, that brings more eyes to the platform itself. And from that, you as a creator have to be able to create and present something that looks good when put next to Todd McFarlane and Power Rangers and whatever. Because if you look like shit next to the Power Rangers, you can't acquire anybody who's buying Power Ranger books. But if you have something that has a quality level where they're like, oh, I'm here to buy Power Rangers, but that's a cool looking werewolf book, you might be able to cross it over. And all of those brands are basically, you have to look at them sort of like Brian Pulido, right? Brian Pulido is a 25, 30-year-old guy using the same IP that's existed for a long time, and that's why he's able to get up to where he's at. That's part of the reason. But what he's done is he's cultivated a following and an audience, and he's told them where to go. And when he goes there, they go there, and he makes money and he moves on to the next thing. So I don't think that Kickstarter is doing anything to sort of ignore us. I mean, they even have their project We Love or whatever to try and create some sort of a little side thing. Like, hey, you might not have seen this, so come look at this thing. It's largely unimportant. It's whatever. But the key for crowdfunding is anybody coming to a crowdfunding platform of any kind, whether it's Kickstarter, Indiegogo, or whatever, you have to be able to bring an audience. Now, Kickstarter will provide you with some aspect of an audience because there are people that just like indie comics and they go and see what's there, certainly. But you got to be able to come in and say, hey, all my guys that have been, seeing me create, I'm over here now. You got to come over here now. And it's your job to make that happen. Now, the flip side of that coin is something I've talked about here before. I believe that Kickstarter should, in fact, be out promoting the idea that Kickstarter exists and why. They should be at Comic Cons. They should be at different places. I mean, because it's not just comics, it's music and movies. I mean, they do everything. So they should be at festivals and Comic Cons and all over the place going, this is what we do. This is why we do it. Here are some success stories, movies, comics, whatever. And not just to get new creators on there, but to expand the idea that Kickstarter exists in the minds of buyers. It was like eBay when eBay first came out, right? They were just this little thing. eBay was designed to sell Beanie Babies because somebody wanted to sell Beanie Babies. And then it grew into this thing. But even they were doing like Super Bowl commercials and shit for a while, like to get people into, the idea that, oh, this is like a real thing. Like, oh, I need to find out what eBay is now. So Kickstarter, really, they have the name. They are Sony, right? Basically, everybody talks about they're essentially Kleenex, right? Nobody says crowdfunding, they say Kickstarter. Right. So they have that momentum and that brand name that if they started showing up like, oh, we're at San Diego Comic Con, we're at New York Comic Con, we're at, some of these sort of mid-range, mid-level cons to promote to the creators, come use us, but also, hey, all you guys like all this stuff. Look at all this stuff that we have throughout the year as indie creator people, again, of all kinds, movies, TV, whatever. You need to know that Kickstarter exists and come be a part of this platform, both sides of the buying aisle. And I fully believe that Kickstarter needs to be doing that 110%. That is, to me, the only way that they have sort of, if anything, ignored their job, maybe. And that's what I used to say that about Diamond too. Diamond Comics never did anything to promote comics outside of the places that already knew comics existed. So had they gone out and kind of pushed the envelope a little bit for the comic book community as a whole, God knows where we could have been, where we are as opposed to where we are now, where Diamond doesn't exist anymore. So the last thing we want is for Kickstarter to stub their toe and lose the momentum that they have. But I kind of have this sense that people at Kickstarter are not, they don't have that drive. They don't have that drive. And that's problematic. I mean, we've seen all of the turnover with different people in different positions and stuff. Like, it's got to solidify. It's got to have people that understand what they have and how to use it and how to push it forward. And that's the only part for me where they're sort of, they haven't missed the boat yet, but it's starting to leave the dock.
All right. That's
and
fair.
Kind of play off what Tom was saying too, like when you brought up Pat Shan and Mike Tenner, like, the algorithm is built on the people who are making the money and bringing in the numbers of people. So it's not so much that Kickstarter is saying, oh, well, you don't have enough people, you don't have enough funds. It's how they make their money is off the funds. So of course, the algorithm naturally, from the very beginning, this isn't even like a new thing. They've always put like the projects that are making the money, putting the most backers on at the very top of those lists. When you look at like, what's magic or what's the top of whatever category.
My point is this, Rob. At what point are we doing art At what point are we doing art? At what point are we not selling shit? At what point are we just
The only way to do art, I'll answer that question too, JD. The only way to do art is to not ever sell it.
Here, bro. Let me just finish up, right? Just be quiet for a moment, because the thing is, you talk, and that's fine. You understand? But here, let me ask all of you a question. Have any of you, or do you even know of anyone who has ever been outreached by their rep? They have an outreach rep for comic books. Has anyone here ever heard from this person ever?
Well, he doesn't exist anymore because he quit.
No, he quit, right? But before he left, has anyone ever been outreached by this person?
No, because she was overwhelmed.
There was two people between Ariana at that point. Yeah.
Right,
the last guy, Sam, I reached out to him, but he doesn't outreach.
Right, but that's the thing though. His job is outreach. Why wouldn't he contact, let's say you, Rob, who've done how many campaigns are you up to? 15, 16, 17?
I'm up to 17 just on this account.
All right. So 17 on this account, raising anywhere from 15 to 20, 30,000, right? You've made significant amounts of money on the platform. Why wouldn't they reach out to you, or even Tom? Tom has made 30+ thousand, on various campaigns, 40+ campaigns, right, Tom? 50+?
Yeah, 50+, yeah.
Right. And have any of you ever heard from these people? You understand? Why wouldn't they reach out to you guys and just ask?
That goes to what Tom was saying, right? That was their job.
Right.
And the last guy who had it, he was just keeping the boat afloat, right? He didn't bring anything new about. He was posting on Kickstarter reads, slapping the Project We Love logos on some of that stuff. But yeah, he wasn't reaching out to us. The only time I ever saw Oriana was when she was doing panels at New York Comic Con, right? I never got to speak to her digitally. She never came to the booth. But yeah, right. To Tom's point, they should have. So is it that they're abandoning it, or is it that they don't know how to actually incorporate it, right? The number one money-making thing on Kickstarter is the video game stuff, right? Not the video game stuff, the board game stuff, right? Not the tech stuff. Comic book is number 2. So are they doing that for those guys? But when it comes to Tom saying, somebody's going to eat their lunch, yeah, when you're in the top of the pack, you don't really fucking care because you're making the money. And the problems don't show up until you stop making the money or somebody else is taking your lunch. I just want to bring about New York City for a second and the Taxi and Limousine Commission over here, right? They were the top of the fucking heap. To get a medallion to operate a taxi in New York City, you were looking at 7 figures, all right? And then here comes Uber. Oh, no, you can't do that stuff, right? But Uber had went to them approximately 1.5 to 2 years before they did this to try to involve the New York City Taxi and Limousine Commission, right? And they shit the fucking bed and they were eating their lunch and they took money out of their pockets, right? To the point where that medallion that they had us pay almost 7 figures for became ungats, nothing, right? Worthless. Because all you needed was an Uber account. You pick somebody else up outside of the city. You could drop them off in Manhattan, no problem. The New York City taxi guys, they don't want to leave New York City. So,
Jay, you go in.
No.
Look, I know the metaphor. I get it. But you like,
listen, you gave Tom his time. Give me this fucking thing.
I didn't talk about taxis.
Exactly. You talk about that. At least he's talking about something he's talking about. Come on.
But you use that as a parallel to what's happening, with us, right? And like I said a moment before, I went to the taxi situation, right? When they're at the top of the heap and they're making the money, they don't really care about the stuff, the scraps, or anything that's going on. If they really did, they would have generated a website like KickTrack, right, to follow their stuff. It didn't have to become third-party supported. They didn't have to let BackerKit into their folds, but they did. And then once they saw all the money that BackerKit started to generate, they were like, oh, no, hold up. Look at the new things that we're rolling out in our platform that you can utilize, right? It wasn't until Indiegogo was throwing the images with the reward tiers that they wait 6 months, 7 months down the road to start doing that over here.
Probably more like a year and a half. But go ahead.
Okay. All right. But until their pockets get hit, they don't really care about it making any changes. So it's up to us to do the work that we got to do to stand out of the crowd, right? He brought up Polito for a second. Yeah, Polito leveraged his 30-something years in making comics. Plus, if anybody knows who he's selling to, it is that guy, right? And I mean, he knows his audience. He knows his audience. And he took that and he took his ball and he went elsewhere.
So I would like to say too, Sam, one thing he did do was he started a couple of different newsletters. And I reached out to him once when I was doing Recon on the Little One, and he actually did put me on one of the newsletters, and I got at least 5 backers from that. I mean, it's nothing crazy, but it was something that he was doing. So, I mean, counteract what I was saying earlier, but he was at least trying in that realm. I would like to see more of that. I know he did the NSFW's email thing too. Maybe something more like that, just for small guys like us in general. But I was on one of those lists though.
I'm not saying they're not doing anything, right? Like they're doing these little things. But what I'm saying is, all right, my thing is at what point, right? Like we know we got the top line guys, right? We know they're bringing in their audiences because they're Boom, the IDW, all that jazz. Or you have these other people who are selling NSFW covers. They're doing very well. They've been doing it for a while. They do great. Okay, fine. You have the top line creators that come in like Matt Wagner and those guys. They also do fantastic. That's great. But when is it that the guys who, you know, what is the average? $1,000 to $3,000 is usually the average Kickstarter campaign in comics. Does that sound about right?
Yeah,
probably.
Right.
Yeah.
So now, how do we bring that average to 2,000 to 5,000? Right? Because I think that if that average were to raise, I think the average for everyone would raise.
Well,
again, I think there's only 2 ways for you to do that.
Mhm.
One is the creators themselves have to level themselves up, bring their audience, level up their product, all that kind of stuff. That's just, you know, make a better product, you get more people. The other side is Kickstarter, like I said, actually reaching out to the general populace and expanding their platform visibility, whether they're attacking film festivals to get film people in or whatever it is. The more people you can get on your platform, the more they would look, oh, what else is on here? Click on this, click on that, click on that. And then that could just spread out and sort of create a trickle down effect.
Yeah, I mean, there's people out there who still don't know who like Kickstarter is. I mean, or how to even use it. You know, that's what their outreach could potentially help. Whereas, like for us, for example, like I was just looking at my, you know, that pie chart that they give you at the top of your dashboard.
Yes,
they've only helped me out 59% of my funding. I've brought in the 41% of my and that's pretty much average. Like sometimes I even get it's 50-50. So like, you know, the first couple days, obviously it's the algorithm. It's like you got a new thing, you got all these backers coming in, but that's because a lot of it too is me doing that pre-launch, you know, getting all those people to come day one, right? But yet Kickstarter takes that credit. So I'm sure that's very skewed as to how much they're actually helping.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Well, their help is all automated. It's just they send out an email because, you know, 200 people backed my previous campaign. 200 people get an email that say, oh, hey, Tom's made a new thing. So it's not like they're really doing anything. They just have an automated system that does sort of the bare bones of it, which is fine.
And it's forever.
I'm not going to say turn it off. It's a free thing. Like tell all my guys that I did it, but it is bare bones outreach. And it doesn't go like they're not emailing Polito fans hey, you like Polito, so you should like Tom's stuff. Like they don't go outside of that box.
Their bare bones are still better than some of the other platforms.
Totally agree. 100%. That's what I'm saying. They have that momentum and they have that stature and they have a good platform. But like Calderon was saying, they don't innovate until they have to. Right. And until people, they're like, oh, 100%. Well, no, we got to do that. Like literally, I could sit here for a weekend and build a better Kickstarter using all of what we use on the internet. It would take me a weekend to build a better one. Now, how much of that is easy to just implement and, code in, who knows? But, the most basic element that Kickstarter still has not done is a goddamn button that says, make this reward an add-on. Like, motherfucker, why am I building a campaign twice?
Yeah. Or even just, what is it? Allowing you to select when you do the, import add-ons and just select as many as you want to import.
Yeah.
Instead of doing one at a
that's the
time.
nice thing about BackerKit is that you can import all of your past add-ons and not have to set one up unless it's a brand new one.
That's because they didn't expect us to utilize the platform this way. They didn't expect Tom to have over 50 campaigns in his span of using it. Really? No, they didn't. So they didn't have that code set up from the beginning. And now they got to play catch up. And to go back to, what's going to make them do that? It's the other companies doing it. I just want to bring up Whatnot for a second. All right. eBay did not start going to the New York Comic Con until Whatnot had a booth there for 3 years in a row. Right. And not just any booth. They had a 20 by 20 space. And then finally, the fourth year, eBay came in with a small little 10 by 10 booth. And then this year they're expanding. So until they see they're losing money or somebody else is eating their lunch, they're not going to make those moves, bro.
Yeah. BMD Nerd, I think this is a good one. Genuine question. Isn't the goal to move away from Kickstarter and other crowdfunding sites?
No.
Not anymore. I mean, maybe back in the day, but now, no.
Yeah.
Again, you got to understand that crowdfunding was originally crowdfunding to help make projects, but it is now a legitimate pre-order sales system that is integrated heavily into the entire comic book community and will continue to be so, whether it's Kickstarter or somebody else. It will continue. Crowdfunding, the idea, will continue to be a thing. Even Polito, who left Kickstarter, just built his own crowdfunding platform. So he's still using the idea of it to do it just on his own. So
but he has enough of an audience to be able to sustain that site. A lot of people in our level don't have that.
If I were to be like, here's the Big Dog Inc. crowdfunding platform, no chance. Like, it wouldn't do it. And you also have to remember, again, when you're on Kickstarter, you are getting eyeballs that would not see you otherwise. Right. That's just a simple marketing element of Kickstarter. And that's why it's one of the better platforms out there, because most of the other platforms have very little, like, just general patron usage. Like, let's go to Indiegogo and see what's there. Like, that doesn't really happen. So with Kickstarter, though, there's so much going on and there's so many creators and stuff. And the comic book people that buy these indie books have started to be trained. Like, this is where a lot of this stuff starts.
And so they're just, people ask, are you going to have a Kickstarter?
Right. Yeah. And they're just like, hey, I'm ready for this. Show me what's here.
I'm sorry. You asked if there was anybody from Kickstarter that did reach out to me. The young Asian woman before Oriana and Sam, I forgot her name, that she's now over with Zoop. I had conversations with her multiple times. I even had her. I hosted a panel with her at the convention I ran in Brooklyn.
Now, but did she reach out to you because she knew you from the panel, or did she reach out to you because she just picked you? She just looked at whatever stats they have in Kickstarter and said, "Let me contact the creator."
We developed the communication because where I hosted the event was a few blocks away from the Kickstarter office, and I walked to the Kickstarter office to invite them to the convention, and they got me in touch with her.
Right. So that's what I'm asking. So you reached out,
more of a networking,
right? Which is great. I mean, don't get me wrong, that's fantastic. But my question is with the outreach guys, like, why isn't it that they're not reaching out to Rob, to Tom? You understand?
Like, they're probably not reaching out to Boom either, though. Boom sees what we're doing, was like, "Oh, I'm going to come here and sell my stuff."
Yeah, that's the thing. I think it's just simply a hiring situation where they just have people. They're hiring people that are filling jobs, sitting at their desk, and going, "I don't really have to do anything. I can just maintain whatever it is that I'm doing, and I have my job." And then once a better job comes along, like we've seen with these, these specific positions, it's like, "Oh, I've been here for 6 months. I'm out. I'm over to this publisher doing something else now." There's nobody that's at Kickstarter that's like, "I'm here to make this awesome."
Yeah, and they're not hiring marketing people who know this industry. They're hiring people, creators, who are in the industry in higher positions and taking them from that. And then they're basically boosting themselves to get even higher.
Right.
So they're using Kickstarter as a stepping stone.
Right. And what we need is people to go in there and go, I'm here to help Kickstarter grow. I'm here to be in this comic book head position, reach out to whoever I need to reach out to, discuss the innovation of the site, whatever it is, and push it forward. But I'm sure they're also not paying like a ton either. I'm sure it's not like some, gigantically paying job where everybody's.
Well, now they only work 4 days a week.
Well, the thing is though, is they went on strike to get a livable wage in New York City, which is $85,000 a year.
Yeah.
All right. The lead outreach gets paid $95 to $120 a year. Okay, so those are decent wages, right? And they also have an all-encompassing healthcare plan.
Okay, all right.
And working a 4-day work week.
What? And a 4-day work week.
Yeah,
the lead outreach was able to work from home as well. They didn't have to go to the office.
And they're all remote, right?
Right.
It's a really good job, right?
If it's remote, that's a great job. It's
remote.
Comparatively great job.
Right.
If you're doing your job.
If you do, right. See, that's my question. It's just like, I'm just curious. Is like, with the whole thing is like, we're also, a lot of us, well, I know, like I say, for me, it's like raising everyone, that bottom line up, right? So that everyone gets raised up, right? Because there's more guys at the bottom than there are at the top, obviously, right? Yeah. So if there's 1,000 of us, wouldn't it behoove them to try to raise that bottom line, right? So that the entire bottom line does well. Because if just one Polito, because imagine how much money Polito took out of the system by leaving, right? Whereas if you have 1,000 people who make up Polito's money, if 2 or 3 of those guys fall off, so what, right? But if one Polito leaves, that's it. How long before Boom or Image or any of those guys start doing crowdfunding on their own as well, just like Polito? Right? Because
the platform is there. I mean, look at Hasbro and their HasLab and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
Like exactly. The concept is there. So yes, again, this is what I'm saying, right? Is Kickstarter needs to be promoting their platform as a whole, because when people do start to figure out how they can do it themselves, when they have that ability, they will do it. Because why pay Kickstarter, 10% or whatever it is to run these things when you can do it all in house?
Polito left because he was not seeing growth in backers. It was the same group of people, right? The same 2,000 to 2,500 people buying from him all the time. So
now he has less than that. He's just making more money because he's not
it's
sharing.
It's definitely less. You can see the less.
You go there now and you look, and it's like between the 2,000. He's only getting like a little bit more than one.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Now, that's not to say that it's just straight because he went over there or anything. Like, we're in a weird mode. Everybody's down on crowdfunding in general. Yeah. The economy is crazy. The world is crazy. So it's not to say that he left and it's like a failure, but you can see his, where he was from a backer standpoint on crowdfunding, or Kickstarter, to where he is now, and it's down for whatever reason, but it is down. So, the thing is about crowdfunding on a platform is that you are opening your place to more eyeballs than you can just get on your own. But that's Kickstarter's job, is to keep bringing more eyeballs to the platform. And that's the part that, again, like I said, I think that's the part that they're missing, that they're really not vibing on the idea that they have the ability to absolutely unlock and throw the door open for creators and for new buyers to come in.
That's true. But listen, real quick though, one person who is not down is this guy here, Rob Multari. So Rob, do you want to play this video?
Sure. Let me talk about it through that.
Do you love stories about anti-heroes and supernatural beings like werewolves, vampires, demons, witches, zombies, and more? Then Nightwolf is the comic book series for you. Nightwolf's unique take on theology and mythology encompasses elements of horror, magic, fantasy in a modern setting. Hi, I'm Robert A. Multari, the creator and writer of Nightwolf, as well as the founder of Lone Wolf Comics. It's been my dream since I was a kid struggling with attention deficit disorder and dyslexia to be a comic book creator because comics have helped me learn to overcome my disability. Born into an outcast breed of werewolves known as the Monokai, 18-year-old Rodney Marcelli is reluctantly thrown into an ancient war between good and evil in today's world where the line has been blurred. With the help of Snowpaw, the pureblood Monokai, Rodney must learn to master his newly found lycanthropy and mysterious kinetic energy power that only he possesses. Rodney must fight the Dark Covenant in order to avenge his friends and family and to save the girl he loves from the master vampire, Lord Malice. Rodney Marcelli is Nightwolf.
Currently, I have written 12 issues of Nightwolf and have published the first 10 issues in print and digital formats. Now, I stand ready to publish Nightwolf issue 11, and that's why I've come back to pay for the printing and the rewards that you will receive for backing this project.
I'm extremely grateful for where I am now as a self-publisher and continuing to serialize Nightwolf for you to enjoy. Again, thank you for taking this creative journey with me. I appreciate it so much. So what are you waiting for? Join the Wolf Pack today.
Rob, what happened to the kilt?
That's Snowpaw.
Oh, okay. Next time.
Yeah, no, that's in the back of the Snowpaw video, and you can tell that I just edit my videos and reuse them because my beard was so much darker then.
All right, so Rob, what is this? What do we got?
Yeah, so this is for issue 11 of 12. So we're getting to the end of this story arc. In a lot of the action, this is basically the last two issues, what I've been waiting for from the very beginning, because this is where all the fun stuff happens. But yeah, I mean, for new people coming in, you can get pretty much most of the series all caught up. Or if you've been a Wolfpack member for a long time, there's a lot of great covers to jump in. We all got Greg Bo Watson and we got CB Zane, we got Chris Madd, we got Chris Williams, and Jaden Lanning. We got a bunch of great cover artists this time.
Cool. Trying to guess who.
But that's just it too. I make sure the people can see the insides of the book. They're not just getting. I'm showing every issue too. I want them to see that they can get quality, books. Not just the covers, you know what I mean? And I think that's what a lot of people look at too. It's like being in a retail store. You're flipping through the books before you decide, you really want it.
Cool. So who's the cover artist on this?
That one is actually my Wolfpack Pups artist. That is Megan Alferter. She's a Pittsburgh local. She does, like I said, she's done my Wolfpack Pups book. And so I'm also running a Wolfpack Pups on backer kit for their Pintopia. So I thought, hey, why not cross over myself?
Nice.
And that's Evan Scale, who did the other two. This is with Beast and Snow crossover print. So if you back them and back me, you get that print.
Cool.
And that's Evan Scale as well. This is a crossover with Tyler James for his epic. His character basically loses his superpowers if he gets turned on. So he sees Snowpaw and falls from the sky.
Gotcha. Right. Okay. It's a very odd power, but okay, cool.
I mean, that's the comedy about
that's the comedy about it. I know. You get a boner, you can't do it with superpowers. This is rough.
Right, exactly.
It's also very realistic to men, right? How men react to women. Very realistic. We lose all our power.
Yeah, it's true. You stop thinking at that point. You're like,
you're thinking with the wrong head. That's for sure.
That's it. Cool. All right, so you said this is issue 11 of 12. Now, after this, what are we looking at beyond issue 12?
Issue 13. Yeah, we're just going to keep on going into the next story arc. Issue 12 at the very end sets up the next story arc, and I'm just jumping right back into it. It's not like how I'm treating Snowpaw. Snowpaw is actually going to be 4-issue miniseries, and I'm going to do several of them as true volumes. Whereas this one, I have basically 3 seasons, if you will, or 3 story arcs planned out that I'm just going to keep rolling with and keep going.
All right. Cool. Very nice. I mean, listen, it looks like you have all 4,000 of your covers.
That's right. For the collectors out there who want to have a pile of,
I mean, can I ask you a question? This level, 2,756. Well, all right, you have it for $1,000,
right?
Just out of curiosity, how often does that one pop up? Like how often?
Once I get that once every other like campaign.
Okay, that's good. No,
look, it happens enough for me to keep doing it.
Yes, yeah. I have the same thing with Oswald. I have like a $400, $500 level, and I'll have a campaign where I have 3 people, buy it, and it's like, what the hell? Okay. So yeah, no, that's cool.
But what's nice about those backers, they come back then to get like all of the covers for like the next campaign, So
right.
that's who they are when they come back.
Mm-hmm. All right, cool. So I mean, you got what, 11 days left?
Yeah.
Nice. So 11 days left. You've already met your goal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're unlocking them stretch goals.
Yeah. Very nice. What's your next stretch goal?
At 14 is a free trading card.
All right, cool. Very nice. All right, looks awesome, bro. You always put out a great book, so everybody go check out Nightwolf. Very nice.
There you go.
All righty. All right. David.
Hey.
Correct Handed Comics. What are we looking at? What do we got?
Yeah, so I'm assuming you're going to my website.
Yes.
On the cover of my website, the first page, you'll see issue 36 or 35, excuse me, of my 50-issue maxi series, The Offspring, along with issue 34 right next to it. And the next to it is just for fun, I put out a couple years back, a bunch of black and white pages for practicing color handbook workbook for anybody who wanted to practice and put in a bunch of different pages from The Offspring, or Will Aliens Do My Homework, or Shady Lady, or The Loved Ones, or whatever it is. If you scroll down, so there's issue 35 right there, right in the middle of this 3-issue story arc called We Built This City, where the 4 main characters are plunged into this alternate universe where parents are forced to spend time with their kids to the point where they're not eating, they're not sleeping, they're just playing with their kids and doing whatever their kids want them to do. So I continue that theme of kids and how we deal with not only being kids, but raising kids, and how the right and the wrong, the goods and the bads, the pros and the cons of that situation, and how these 4 main characters handle being on some level on the wrong side of what's happening in this parallel universe. This is after my huge, it was a 9-issue story arc that was to have the kids traveling back. Kids, they're in their 20s. The main characters traveling further back in a time, being chased by the Eternity Man, who was trying to absorb as much raw power as he possibly could through time travel to be able to take over the world himself. There's a whole big thing that happened where he didn't succeed, but it wasn't because of the 4 main characters. It was because he was kind of stabbed in the back. But if you scroll down there a little bit, and then I'm working on 36 and 37, and that'll actually be the end of season 3. So you'll see I have 2 omnibuy there on the right-hand side, collecting seasons 1 and season 2. And it'll also be volume 9. So 34, 35, 36, 37, 38 will be collected into volume 9. So that's all the way up to issue 30 for 8 volumes of The Offspring. And I'm not going to stop until I'm done to 50. 7 years ago when I started, I kept hearing, don't try 50 issues. You're an idiot for trying 50 issues. Don't do it. You won't make it. It's too hard. It's this or that. But now, 7 years into it, I'm at issue going on 36. And 50 issues is very much a seeable situation. So I'm really glad I didn't take that advice, because if I didn't do it, I wouldn't have my book more than halfway done. So it's worked out.
It has. Good job. I mean, and you're selling these exclusively off of your website? Are you selling them any place else?
So yeah, there's links there to Amazon, to Global Comics, So I have most of The Offspring and all my other titles on Global Comics. And I'm working on a couple other sites here, again, trying to get as many eyes on it as possible. If you go to the graphic novel section, you'll see the book that I'm probably still in the process of thinking of the best situation to do. But if I probably will be doing this book, Latent Lightspeed, which is my 126 pages of a black and white comic that turned out really good. It's a sci-fi adventure. So if you go, right there, graphic novel, and scroll down a little bit, there's Latent Lightspeed. It's a sci-fi adventure about an 85-year-old scientist who perfects cloning technology and transferring consciousness into that clone. So through him having some pretty raucous times and problems with other aliens trying to steal his technology, he has to download his consciousness into a 12-year-old version of himself. So it's a big aliens and spaceships and other worlds and action adventure. And I'm super proud of both those books, Latent Lightspeed and The Loved Ones, the way they turned out. And I'm trying to get as many eyes on it as possible.
All right, cool. Now you mentioned earlier that you're gonna do something eventually on Kickstarter. What's that about?
Yeah, so Latent Lightspeed, the 24 or the 120 page graphic novel, that's the book that I'm going to do a Kickstarter on. Probably, I'm 98% sure that's what I'm doing a Kickstarter on, to be able to have something like The Loved Ones. I thought it was a little too much. 35 issues of it, and doing my first Kickstarter on that didn't really make any sense to me. But doing a Kickstarter for the first time with a graphic novel that is really one and done, there's always more there. So I'm probably going to end up doing over the next 10 years a sequel to Latent Lightspeed, because I always leave it open for more fun and action and adventure. But it just made more sense to me to be able to do a graphic novel rather than something like The Offspring, which is 50 issues, and being able to use some of those things, like my 24-page one-shots, which I have 5 of them, my 4-issue miniseries, maybe the first 4 issues of The Offspring as those reward tiers for people, like in print and digital, to be able to hopefully entice those people to be able to give me more money, which is essentially what we're doing here, right? So being able to do that with my second graphic novel, which turned out, I think, really, really well, I think is going to be really fun and probably the best choice for me in a very first Kickstarter.
All right, cool. Nice. All right, that's good. And just
if you go to the last page, I'm sorry, go ahead.
When do you think you're going to be launching?
Probably February.
Okay. Cool. Not too far.
February. My goal right now is to get issue 36 done and out, and then be able to focus on the Kickstarter. So trying to make sure I get to issue 40 before the end of the year. The Offspring is always my main goal, but I think with 2 issues out in 2 months, I had just had 35 come out in January, and then 36 will come out in February. Then I think that gives me a pretty good leap forward, head start to be able to make sure I still meet my overall goal of getting the books out, but also being able to pay attention to the Kickstarter.
All right, cool. Very nice.
That's the plan anyway. Does it sound like a good plan from the expert panel here?
I would say you're doing pretty good.
You know,
cheers.
I mean, go.
Yeah.
It's always listen. You're going to be starting out, so it's always going to be a little rough, but that's okay.
Yeah.
You know.
Oh yeah, I'm sure I'm going to be banging my head on the wall a few times during the process.
And we'll all be here to help you.
Well, and you have a backlog of things that you can use as well.
Yeah.
That you can use to supplement.
Mm-hmm. That's true. And
yeah,
so
my goal has always been content, just getting it out, just focusing on getting cool stories out and cool characters and things like that. But now with so many, I've got over, 35, 40, counting 200 plus page graphic novels, that'd be like 45 to 50 books. So I'm like, okay, I'm good on content. Now let me try to take it to the next level.
Yeah. All right, cool. Sean.
Yep.
you're taking it to the next level with your first trade. So yeah, man. So talk to us. What is this about?
So this is my first real goal when I started. This is my first issue that I ever created in comics was The Fog Within. It's basically a Mad Max-like universe with powers. It's also kind of like G.I. Joe meets X-Men with a time-traveling fog is what my elevator pitch normally is. Basically, Hunter in the present is in this town. There's a cataclysmic event that happens. A couple of days later, he's on a run, has a stressful conversation with his new wife, and all of a sudden he runs into some fog, ends up 26 years in the future, and he doesn't know how he got there. And the story goes from there. That's the first page is the fog. He's falling out right there on that page, and trying to figure out what's going on and what's changed. And basically from this cataclysmic event, the time that he's missed, there's an infection from the event, and this group takes over the town. The government gives up on this town because of the infection. They don't know what to do with it. So they put walls up. These guys take over, and now there's rebels in place. And there's this fog that they know about that's going to come through at some point. They're waiting for him, and then he's supposed to lead them. He's trying to figure out how to lead since he's just getting there. And these 4 issues, he's coming into his powers. He realized he is the fog, and how does that work? And the 4th issue, he kind of goes a little crazy and tries to go on his own without the rebellion, and see if he can get out of the situation he puts himself in.
All right, cool. Now, I've heard you talk about this in the past, where you said you're part of a class with Scott Snyder.
Yep. Yeah. Scott Snyder's Substack. He started that a couple of years ago. When I first started, I had no idea how to even start writing. I've always read comics in the past, but I started his class. I actually did the tier where you meet with him once a month. I did that for the first year, and I saw him at a couple cons, and we talked about it. Everything was pretty cool. And I'm still in his class, but I'm not doing that tier anymore. And since I thought this would be the only thing that I was going to do writing wise, but now I've got the bug, and now I have 3 different series, and I'm continuing on. I already have the 2nd issue of Recon that's coming out. It's entirely complete. It'll be coming out in March after this one's done. And I already started art on number 5 of The Fog Within as well. This will be a 12-issue mini-series. So this is the first arc, and then there'll be 2 other arcs of 4 issues. And this volume is 96 pages of story. And of course, I have all of the fun stuff in the back, the variant covers, the concepts, some pencils and inks, that kind of thing.
All right, cool. Now I was going to ask you, like what? Obviously, he's guided you, but I mean, like, what benefit did you see, like, other than that? You know, did you find it a worthwhile venture? You know, getting in touch with Scott, and did he mentor you? And how did you feel about it?
Oh yeah. I mean, that first year definitely giving me the confidence of, hey, am I going the right route? Do I need to work on something? He gave me some advice on some of the pages because we went over outlines, we went over full scripts. I mean, he does it all. And I mean, it's a 5-minute thing that you're actually talking to him about every month, but he actually reads over everything, and his other guys that worked with him, they look over it too and everything. Yeah, I thought it was very worthwhile. Brian Michael Bendis, he also has one too. It's not on Substack anymore, but it started out on Substack, and I was doing the same thing with his class just because I want to get better as a writer and make the best comics possible. So,
all right, cool. Listen, it looks great. Where are you trying to get through this? So
the goal is 1,500. That's what I need to print it and to ship it. So we're definitely getting there. I started on Tuesday, so I have a shorter campaign that I'm trying to do for it. Just because that middle window, the dead time, it just kills me. So I kind of try to avoid that if I can. And then, I think it's going pretty well so far because most of my backers are from The Fog Within. So I know if they already have all 4 issues, they're not necessarily going to be going for the trade, but still have to do the trade.
So what are you doing here? 14 days?
I think it was 19 days altogether.
19 days? Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Well, you're almost there, and I know you're going to make it, brother. So, good looking book. I'm looking forward to it.
Appreciate it.
Very nice. Very nice. All right. Sorry. All right. Oh, nice. Tom, what are we looking at?
And that's a very rare Big Dog Inc. Sign up page. So we basically never have. So you should really pay attention to this one, because if it's here 3 days early, like something's going on. This is our 15-year anniversary for The Legend of Oz: The Wicked West. So we're doing an all new story arc. 20 pages, 40 pages, 40 pages. We'll complete the arc, 100 pages total. We're also going to be doing a anthology in March, some other special Oz stuff throughout the year. But for those that don't know, our Wicked West is a reimagining of Western reimagining of the Wizard of Oz. So instead of ruby slippers, Dorothy's got ruby spurs, ruby bullets. Toto's her horse. This arc is one of our own. I mean, we've adapted portions of Baum's books throughout all of the issues that we've done, but this one's really going to be 90% a story of our own with General Ginger, the gnomes and the Kaleidas. That we'll still have Dorothy and Ozma and stuff as part of the story as well, but this is a real heavy focus on Ginger for this story arc. So it's very much a story that came from me versus like, let's take pieces of Baum's story and create something new out of it. So it's kind of cool to do. New series artist is Allison Rodriguez, who is, I mean, absolutely blowing me away right now. Like the pages he's turning in are just like, God damn, I found a guy, and we gotta keep feeding this guy. Even when this book is done, we're gonna keep feeding this guy because.
I'm sorry, what was his name?
Allison Rodriguez.
Okay.
Yeah. Jay's already trying to steal him.
No.
I'll pay you $10 more.
All right.
Bro, I thought I misheard you because I'm like, Allison, I thought Allison was a girl's name, but you know, I'm not knocking the artist.
The first artist of the book's name was Allison Borges. So we've come full circle.
Oh, look at that. That's dude, you got to play up on that, man.
Yeah.
You got to play up on that.
So yeah, so he's doing unbelievable work. It really, honestly, I was talking to somebody the other day about this business and how hard it is, and how, to be perfectly honest, artists get flaky, and it's so hard to find somebody that is going to both do good work, but then also like be enthusiastic about the project. Like so many are just like, they're just there for that payday. Okay, I'm paid, I'm out. Let me go somewhere else. But when you find somebody who's like really getting into the meat of it and is really understanding the script and the storytelling, and when you can give them edits and they're like, oh yeah, that's really great. Like the enthusiasm of an artist is everything. And at this stage right now, what Allison's doing has like put a shot in my arm of like, oh, this is why I love this. Like this is where it's right. It feels really, really right now. That this guy is so enthusiastic about this book. All the people that did covers were like mind-blowingly engaged in what they were doing. So I think everybody, whether you're here for some covers, we got Nei, she's back again for covers. We have Steve Ferris for the first time. Ryan Kincaid is here. Whether you're here for the awesome covers, whether you're here for the book, the story, the interior stuff, like you are going to love cover to cover this whole book.
All right, very nice. And this launch is when?
Wednesday, 28th, 9 p.m. Eastern time. Yeah.
This is issue 1, right? So that you're going to do a couple other
ones?
One
of this arc.
Okay.
It's issue 26 of the series.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay. Very nice. Very nice.
Way to be, man.
When are you doing your next omnibus?
15 years. We'll do Omnibus number 2. No,
damn.
I don't know.
What the hell? It's gonna take that long?
Took a long time to get to the first one, man.
Yeah, man. Like, this is how I like to buy things, and I'm the buy.
He's got to do the volumes first, and then you get to the omnibus.
Yeah.
Yes.
The buy. Oh,
this volume is volume 6, and if we're gonna do like the first omnibus, where it's the first 4 volumes, we got to get through volume 8, and then we'll make a big book.
All right. Cool.
So this will be this is volume this will be doing volume 7. We've already done volume 6. This is volume 7. So you got to get through volume 7 and one more, and then we'll have another book.
All right, cool. Very nice. Now we got this guy.
Yo, what's up? So we got the Dead Princess Vicky Styx. This is our reinterpretation of the Frankenstein's monster story, but set in New York City with a female lead, and she is the last prayer for those creatures that go bump in the night. Think of her as an anti-Ghostbuster, looking out for the the vampires, werewolves, and all other sorts of creatures that howl at the moon. This is issue number 2. Is written by me, illustrated by Donnie Hariwijaya. Yes. That's his name correctly. Thank you.
I don't think that's right either, but okay.
Oh my God, bro! You phonetically spelled it out for me.
I still think you know. I don't think you know how to pronounce things out phonetically, but okay.
Oh my God! Okay. Anyways, and colored by Chape Ramirez. Colored by.
I'm sorry, Jay. I'm sorry, but I don't think I was pronouncing it right either. Okay,
Uh-huh.
We need to get Donnie to just say it. Like we need to get a voice message from him. So pronounce your damn last name.
I did. But anyways, let's move on. So those are some of the preview pages, and then we have our returning backer reward. So if you have backed any other project from Unstoppable Comics, doesn't matter which one it is, you automatically get this holochrome trading card added to your reward at no extra charge. If you are not a returning backer and you still want the card, you can get it for $5. There's also going to be a early bird special for the first 48 hours. That is a holochrome trading card. That's my way of saying thank you for those who have been supporting us and keep coming back. I don't have frequent flyer miles. I don't have that little ticket that you punch 7 times to get your free coffee or your free ice cream. I got trading cards. A lot of people like trading cards. They're pretty, inexpensive to produce. People like them. It's not like stickers that they're just going to toss away, and it doesn't add much to the shipping charge. So I like cards. I can't help it. And I am doing a special crossover trading card set with a couple of the guys that are on this very stream. Yeah. And the first card is going to be launched with Tom's on Wednesday. So my book launches on February 13th. That's a Friday night. All the creepiness and stuff involved. In between that is Calderon. I don't know when Rob is going to be launching his. That's part of the card set. But we also have Marvin Wynn, who is taking part of this as well.
I think mine's a spring and a fall launch.
Spring and a fall. Okay, so we're rocking and rolling with this, guys. And we're just trying to do something extra to bring eyes on all of our campaigns and have some fun with it for our backers as well. I mean, that's how I'm going into this. I don't know about you guys. Do you got the cards, Calderon?
What do you mean?
I mean, do you got the images of the cards?
Some of them.
Why would I have that?
No, because we put them up on Friday. Maybe you could just, present them now, since 4 of the 5 guys are part of this stream, so we can share this with people. It's a very nice group setting to do that.
I know you have your card at least.
No, I don't actually. I don't have any of this prepped. Thank you, guys.
You don't have it prepped? Okay,
No, I don't have any of this stuff prepped.
Let me send it to you.
Oh, JD, and your lack of preparation.
Listen,
Look, you get a day off tomorrow.
I know, I do. Hold on, because I don't want. All right, I can put up my card.
Hold on.
Hold on.
Yeah, I'm sending it to you now.
Don't worry about it. There's my card.
Yeah, I know. There's your card. There's your card.
So the thing is, I don't want to scroll through it because I'll show a bunch of other stuff that I'm not.
Okay. Did you get mine? You got my thing.
There
All
you
right.
go.
So this is the first card that's going to be launched with Tom's campaign, and if you hit the first stretch goal, you'll be able to get this bad girl. I was going to say bad boy. You'll be able to get this baby, and it has the year, it has who the character is, it has our logo on the bottom corner. And on the back of the card, there's going to be a very nice group image that spotlights all of the characters in one gang piece, right? So it's a little puzzle. It's the gimmick to get you going with all the other cards. So that's Tom's. This one is going to be mine. All right, we got Vicky Sticks standing on a chimney. We got Calderon's, Magic, and then we have Marvin's Blaine with the edge. All right. Rob, you got your card set up?
They're in the process.
They're in the process. Okay.
Yeah, I just got my first line art rough back.
Okay. So, look, the cards are numbered, totally differently here than they're going to be released, right? So Tom is number 3, but it's going to be the first one released. Doesn't matter as long as you get all of them, folks.
Yep. Got to make that puzzle.
Got to make that puzzle.
All right. Jay, you're up. What's your question?
I was just up. I showed the cards. What are you talking about?
No. Yeah, not tough for your question, though. All right. There you go.
All right. Since we're on the Kickstarter hook, are we using Kickstarter effectively? Are we getting the most out of it? I mean, how many people use the Google metric part of the Kickstarter dashboard?
That's fair.
Right?
That's fair.
I mean, are we using it to the best of our ability?
Okay, that's fair. David, since you don't David, why don't you have any thoughts on it before we move on? Because I know you don't. You're muted. You're muted. David, you're muted.
You're with us, bro. Now you're with us, brother.
There you go. No, go for it.
My bad. So, I was coughing earlier. I didn't want everybody to hear my coughing. So, one of the reasons I love coming on these shows is regardless of whether I was doing a Kickstarter or not, great ideas to be able to learn how to push your book out to other people. And we've said it 5 or 6 times in this hour and a half of more eyes on the book. So really my goal is to use every available aspect system of Kickstarter to be able to make it as successful as possible, right? And if there are parts of it that I don't use, whether it's just because I didn't know they were there or because I didn't think it'd be successful, that second one would be my fault. Because how do I know? I don't know because I've never used it. So to skip those kind of avenues, as someone who is just starting off, or anybody who's been using it for a million years, to me would seem foolish, because even if 2 more people see it because of whatever aspect of your, that people aren't utilizing enough, is wasting that opportunity. So again, it's always about the opportunities to be able to get eyes on the book. And I think that hearing you guys talk is already giving me idea after idea after idea after to make sure that I'm setting myself up to succeed with my first one. So I'm on receive mode, not send mode right now.
Cool.
Good.
Rob?
Yeah. So I mean, the Google question specifically, yes, I do use the Google Analytics tag in there. I also use the Facebook pixel, and I don't run Google ads because that is obviously way more complicated.
Right.
But when people were searching, it's still kind of pulling that information into the dashboard, as well as it's my Google, analytics from my website. So it's people who visit my site, visit the Kickstarter, they're feeding back and forth, right?
Good.
And I'm able to track that information. So, and I like being able to see the data. The Facebook pixel, I think, is a better part because you're getting especially in my case, I'm better at running on Facebook than the other social media platforms, and I have a lot more people following me from there. So people are going back and forth from my page, back and forth, feeding that information, which has been helping with and I do paid advertisement through Facebook. So my I've had 11 brand new people come in and spend over $1,000 just by a
There you
Facebook
go.
ad.
There
That's
you go.
only cost me like $300.
Okay.
So I mean, I'm taking advantage as much as I can. You know, like I'm beating that pavement. You see me posting constantly, right? You know, I'm trying to get those people in the door. As far as like the platform itself, I mean, really, it only gives you so much tools that you can use during a campaign. You know, whereas like you got to kind of be more creative how to use those tools and bring people in. At least that's my 2 bits.
That's interesting. I mean, do you know of any other tools that would be more useful, like that could be incorporated into the site, or just stuff that we could use in general that would help us or help anyone?
Who are you asking, me or JD
You.
for asking a question?
I
Me
was asking you because you're the one, because you're just the way you framed it, like the way I see it, or the way I perceive your answer was that there are more things available that are not being.
Well, I mean, yeah. So there's, you know, the referral tags, right? So if you create a bunch of those and you specifically place them, you can follow where your backers are coming from. That's an invaluable tool. I use that shit all the time because then the ones that are doing really well, I'm hitting that, right? You know, and like those crossover things that I do with the prints, I've done them with Tom, I've done them, you know, with Daphne, JD. You and I still need to do one. It's you too, Jay. Like in Sean and whoever, you know, like I'm always looking for people to do those prints because they're a fun extra piece bonus for people who are there backing, getting eyes on both projects, right? And I do multiple because then it kind of circulates through it's kind of comes through me to a hub to the others, right? But those referral tags, I like to be able to see, okay, who's it coming from? What's it doing? You know, that's how I know that Facebook ad is doing so well because I'm using a referral tag from Kickstarter into the Facebook ad. So I know that's exactly where it's coming from. There's no skewing. You know, same with my posts. I know if it's coming from my personal page, my group page, my business page, whether it's coming from Twitter, Instagram, my website, you know, I know where these things are all coming from. So I think those are tools that, like, if you want to test if something's working or not, those are invaluable. You know, and doing like certain things with like add-ons, like having limited edition things or limited time things, like giving people FOMO. That's a great tool that like you could be potentially using for like anything. Like if it's a cover, you know, a mini figure, you know, whatever. Like, you know, if you have something limited and time limited, people will want to grab on that before it runs out. They don't want to miss out. So take advantage of stuff like that, you know, being creative. Like, heck, I always do like a full moon print, you know, around the night of the full moon. I always make sure that I'm live during that and give people a week to jump on that to be able to get that print. So the full moon is next Sunday, right? So starting tomorrow, that's when they have the opportunity. If they're already backing, they're already getting it. New people who haven't backed yet, they got a week to get it before that full moon. And then after that, they don't get it, you know, stuff like that. You know, that's not necessarily a Kickstarter thing, but it's, you know, it's using the platform in a way, gamifying it, right? You know, you keep another thing that people don't use a lot is the comments, right? The comments and the updates, the comments on the page. Gamify your updates. Say, put your covers up there. Say, hey, which cover do you like the best for this new issue? A, B, C, D, E, F, or G, or whatever you have, right? People will comment that, you know, that helps kind of, in my mind. I'm not 100% sure that actually helps boosting the algorithm, but like people coming to your page and using it is something, you know, that I feel
whether it hits the algorithm or not, it's engagement, and that's what you want.
Exactly. You want to keep bringing them back because then while they're there, they're looking at that update. They're looking at what you have. Like, say if you had an add-on, like 2 of my stretch goals are add-ons, and as soon as they got added, I had people buying them. You know, so you want to keep, you know, people engaged. You want to keep them, you know, you don't want to just set it and forget it and then hope that people come to your page.
All right, cool. Sean, what are your thoughts?
I mean, Rob's the expert on this one for sure. Well, and Tom. So I definitely don't use all the tools. I mean, I try to. Some of it's over my head. I would say even being almost 3 years into it. But I mean, the thing I focus on most is making sure that I have all the rewards, all the add-ons that I could possibly have on there in different ways to make sure I don't lose anybody because they wanted this one certain thing that wasn't there in a whatever certain way they wanted it. So like very basic, but I mean, for instance, with the trade, I've got the trade by itself, and then I have my Lego that I've had before as another tier, the Lego and the trade, and every add-on that I've ever made is available digitally or physically. I mean, that's very basic, but that's like the biggest thing that I use, and just make sure I have every possible scenario that anybody wants. And then I still inevitably have something that's not on there that somebody wants. Like now I have the Lego by itself because one of my previous backers said I have everything, but I don't have the Lego. Can you just do that by itself and send me a Lego in the mail? So I, of course, add it. But that's the biggest thing that I've done, though.
Yeah, because digital backers will buy those tchotchkes or those Legos, and
Yep.
I mean that's like, you know, a decent margin there if you price it right.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Tom, what are your thoughts?
I don't do anything. To be perfectly honest, I don't do anything as far as any of that stuff. The numbers, the references, the Googles, the any of that stuff. I do on occasion, like because Google or not Google, but Kickstarter has like your analytics kind of built in that you can kind of look at what's going on. So I kind of browse through that every now and then just to kind of look at it. But pretty much it always looks the same to me. Like there's no changes. There's nothing in there that I'm like, oh, look at that. That was like a huge change. Like it never happens. So I barely even pay attention to that. Part of the reason is because of people like Rob. Again, this is not a hot take when Rob's here. But no, seriously, it's. I see people. This is not a Rob comment. This is just this is a general. I see a lot of people doing a lot, like they're doing a fucking lot, and then I watch their campaign, and the campaign's not doing a fucking lot. So I'm kind of over here like, did any of that matter? Like, did any of that extra matter? Right? And I'm not. This isn't to like tear people down at all. This is like I see your campaign. You did 5,000. Next time you did 5,000, the next time you did 5,000. Like, so is the extra worth the extra? Because when I see the extra, it's like a fucking ton of work. They're going on 80 podcasts and they're doing so much, but like nothing's really bumping, right? You know what I mean? So for me, I'm kind of like, if I'm watching all of this extra being done and it's not really having much of an effect, it tells me I don't need to be doing it. Now that may be a wrong assumption on my part. And if I did a little more, I might see a little more. But for me, I am one person, so all of that stuff is ROI. It's return on investment. Investment being energy, time, whatever. So I do a couple of podcasts every week, generally right here with these two guys. So everybody kind of knows who I am, knows where I am. If they want to get a hold of me, I'm pretty easy to get a hold of. Everybody that kind of is in my social media circle knows that I'm on Facebook. So most of my backers come from Facebook anyway. I'm not chasing Instagram. I'm not chasing TikTok. I'm not chasing any of that stuff. I am where I am. I do what I do. And I want people to find me rather than, again, ROI, just chasing fucking theoretical numbers and theoretical people. What I will say, though, one thing that we do, again, and now the second part of this is what Rob brought up, which is the gamifying of it, right? That's a legitimate thing. That's a thing that's one of the reasons why Polito became so big so fast, is because even at the beginning of his campaigns, he was just giving shit away all the time. He was like, well, here's 10 metal things, and here's another 10 metal things. Here's another 10 metal things. And random people would get them. And then people would get them and be excited. They'd talk about it. They'd come back for the next campaign because they want to win a thing. So the winning of a thing or the ability to buy a thing, that is the FOMO element, that can absolutely work. And we do that. Like we have day one or first 24-hour types of things that we do. We kind of do that all the time now. The hey, here's a new add-on in the middle of the campaign. We used to do that. But what I found was that while it worked, what I found was that the people that were buying those add-ons were people that had already bought stuff anyway. It wasn't like attracting a new crowd, right? And so I got it in my head that I was like, I just feel like I'm fleecing my customer at this point, because it's like, okay, this guy came in on day one, he spent $500 on like buying everything, and now, hey, by the way, here's 3 more add-ons, and he's going to come back and get them. Like, I know he's coming back to get them. But the whole point for me is I want that to be an attractive element to bring new people in. That's my goal for it. And so since I wasn't really seeing that, I was like, I don't want to do that. Plus the other thing was it was to kind of bump that dead zone in the middle of all our campaigns, right? That's another big help. So there is value in that for sure. But then for me, all of my numbers and everything, it's backer count and who they are and what they bought. Because when I ship stuff out, I know that name. I know I can see what they're buying. So I know like, they're catching up on trades or whatever. Or if somebody's just coming in and buying one trade or buying like a catch-up pack of some kind, I know that's a new customer or at least new to the book because of what they're specifically buying. So the numbers for me work in a different sort of context. And it's all just, do I know who that is? Have I seen him before? How many times? What is this guy buying? And then, it just kind of sits in the Rolodex so that when we come to the next campaign, it's like, I know people are missing. Like I know names to a point where it's like, oh, this guy didn't get in this time. Yeah. And then I have to ask, okay, why wasn't that guy in? And I have come to find that there are people who buy my stuff only when there is a specific artist on a book. So they are not Big Dog Ink fans per se. They are fans of that particular artist, and they will only partake when that artist is attached because they'll put that artist on the next one, and there they are.
Or sometimes they have life issues. They can't back this time, but then you come back happen. And then you pick up the catch up later.
That can happen, but like in our situation, like we don't have all of our variants like available on the next campaign. So if they miss it, generally speaking, it's gone unless I've got a few extras that I put on the website or something. Which again, I'll then see the name. Oh, there's that name. He got that book because he missed it on the campaign. So it's sort of a I'm an Excel person. I'm a list person. So when I see names and things that it attaches to, I can correlate the information myself and be like, that guy. Okay, I don't know who that is. Let me double check. Let me go back in backer kit. Nope, he's never been here before. He's buying this stuff. Like, okay, great. So I've picked up somebody somewhere. I think knowing where they're coming from probably has some value. But again, I don't know how I would attack that information. If all of a sudden somebody was like, oh yeah, we met you from TikTok. Like, well, I don't know how. There's like, there's 8 videos there. They're all 2 years old. Like, I don't know how you would find anything, but I don't know how I would then attack that, and be like, well, I got to do more TikTok because one guy found me. Like, no, that's ROI. How much time am I taking to, put into that versus what I'm going to get back from it? So I'm not against any of it, but I would want to basically have I do. Look right here. Literally right here. I would want to be able to work with somebody that understood it more and could translate the data in a way that my brain doesn't work that way, so yeah. All right, cool. But the gamifying is a legitimate thing, but you have to be willing to play your campaign like it's a game show. And again, that's a different sort of energy that I don't generally have. So I've streamlined it into, some specific areas.
All right, cool. For myself, I admire everything that Rob does. I do none of it. I'm very similar to Tom. But it's like Daphne once said, she was like, you just set him loose and he's gonna go run wild and do whatever, and that's pretty much it. I just, the one thing I just working my my lists, and that's pretty much it. As far as the rest of it, I feel similarly to Tom in the sense that to look at those numbers and to look at those lists is like, yeah, how do you attack those? How do you attack those? Right? How do you make that data viable enough that you can go in and do something with them? Right? It's different if I was getting data off of Facebook itself and seeing where like if I could get like how many hits or like this show is getting on Facebook, right? And then can I get that to correlate to my Kickstarter, right? Just like with what Rob is saying with the tags. If I was to tag this show, correlate that. Too lazy to do it. Well, it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. But Jay, it's all yours.
How do we expect things to change if we're not trying things differently? Right? Rob is doing a ton of shit, but look at Rob's numbers. Right? Rob's doing really good, man. Not just his dollar amount, look at his back account. Right? That's a hell of a lot of fucking shipping you got to do, right? But it's there. People don't do something as simple as using the code generator, right? The referral codes on a different podcast that they're on, or live stream. How do they know if they're getting backers from that particular live stream if they're not identifying them? It could cut down on how many podcasts and live streams you do.
I mean, I've only done 2 this campaign.
Okay.
This one and one other one.
Okay. But I hope it brought you sales, dude. Right? I hope it brought you sales.
I've
but
got
I also hope
you started. So hey, why not?
Yeah, I hope also you use the referral code, at the same time. And it's just little things like that. We can't always blame the algorithm, right? We can't always blame the people who are not doing the outreach. How much of it falls on our shoulders? Right? No, I don't use Google Analytics. I don't use Facebook Pixel. Maybe I fucking have to. Maybe I have to. At least so I can eliminate, okay, it's not on me. Maybe it is the algorithm, right? But I won't know until I'm able to identify that. Yes, for some people, this is a hobby. Yes, for some people, this is a business, right? And some other people don't want to lose their shirt and keep their lights on, right? And make sure they got money to play in this world and have a bed to sleep in at the end of the night. And if you're going to keep doing that, you got to make sure you're doing everything you can within that scope to do that. And if not, then maybe spread out your campaigns a little bit, right? Maybe not do a campaign every week and a half, like some people do, because there's too much on your plate to do. It's just.
JD can do that because he doesn't market. He just prepares and runs, and then he prepares the next one.
He's the epitome of George Foreman. Set it and forget it. You know what I mean, bro?
The thing is, though, is I think you're being a little hyperbolic, right? Like when you say have a bed to sleep, you have a bed to sleep. No matter what happens to your campaign, you're always gonna have a bed to sleep.
Bro, there's some people that
we're not talking about some people. What about you?
Okay, no. Right. So I'm bringing that out there. I'm bringing it out there because I know that there's people that have spent, not the world, right, but have invested a lot of money into making a book and barely make $600.
And here's the thing with that. If that's the case with you and it's requiring and you need that money to pay your rent, my advice to you is you have bigger issues than doing comics. You need to correct your life and then come back.
Yes, but some people are going to be chasing the dream no matter what, dude.
You can always chase the dream.
Because what? For some people, this is a gambler's itch, bro. They're going to scratch. They're going to scratch because I'm going to get lucky sometime, And
because they keep looking at like Robert Kirkman, who is like basically poor and then made it big. That's right. What they're trying to chase.
But even then, he put in a lot of work.
Well, right, exactly. That's just it. But he was putting in that work when he had nothing. Mm-hmm. And living in someone's basement.
Yes.
Right. And that's fine.
But see, that's just that's choices, though. That goes back to ROI. How much you want to put into it versus, what are you going to get back from it? And you have to have that balance somewhere. If you want to be Kevin Smith and max out your credit card for $50,000 and take a shot, go take your shot. That's your call. But you got to be all in if you're going to be doing that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. Otherwise, you got to find the balance. Like, I'm going to do this on the weekend. I'm going to work my day job during the week, weekend. You gotta have that balance before you can sort of like really decide this is what you want to do, like for a living. That because then everything changes once you reach that point.
Right. And if it doesn't work out for you, you shouldn't be bitching about it because you took your shot.
Right.
You took your shot.
Right.
And that's it. Be a man, be an adult, take your shot,
And don't say
Yeah,
comic book.
and listen,
Yes.
the unfortunate part of this is that most comics in the history of comics have failed. Okay, as far as like creator-owned stuff, you can go to dollar bins and 50-cent bins across the country every single weekend and find the failures of people that have tried to do this. It's a graveyard out there. So don't think that you have lightning in a bottle, because you probably don't. Right. But that doesn't mean that you can't have a start and build a foundation and build up from that slowly. Just don't come in and think like, I got this. I'm the next Image guy, because you're probably not. I mean,
there's a phrase I know.
Probably not.
Talking about what Tom just said. There's a phrase that my grandpa said to me 50 years ago, and it's, if you do the thing and you fail, if you really want to do the thing, you'll continue to try to do the thing. But if you've done it 2, 3, 9, 20 times and you still fail, but you keep going back to do that thing, you're not starting from scratch. You're starting from knowledge. So every time, hopefully, you get back on that horse, you get closer and closer and closer to achieving whatever it is you want to do, because every single time you do it, you learn something new about how you messed up or what you need to do better or what you need to, whatever it is. So I think that really that idea of, I got a rejection letter from Image for my book that's going to be my, magnum opus, story. And then people just stop, or they think they're going to make, or they, start a small press and they want to do a big, like, Marvel, universe with 1,000 books in a year. And then they realize putting out one book is very, very difficult. Especially if you're trying to, like Tom was saying, reel in an artist, reel in a writer, reel in a whatever it is. But to know that if you want to do it, you'll keep doing it, and you'll continue to learn. And there will always be something you don't know. And just continuing to kind of fill in those gaps as you go.
Yeah, that's the important part is it's not just doing it again. It's learning about what you did wrong, and then taking that knowledge and moving to the next step and trying to correct whatever that problem might be.
Yeah, and that's exactly.
And there's still no guarantees even in that, but at least again you're learning something, and in that journey you might end up just finding a completely different door than what you were aiming for, just because you've acquired knowledge of things. And it may be that you are not here to write or draw comic books, but maybe you're here to be an editor for other people because of the information that you've acquired, and maybe that's your skill set. So, just absorb everything as best you can.
Yeah. I mean, to Tom's point, I mean, I've encountered creators that I know of who are doing books that they're doing books, and that's fine. But it's like, I feel that if they had directed their energies in other areas, right? Like maybe not just promoting their work, but promoting other people's work, that would have been an area where they could have met a lot of success. You understand? Maybe not going the route as a self-publisher, but maybe them being a publisher, right? And maybe that, and that might have been their strength. Maybe they're not great creators. You understand? But there could be other areas within comics where they could be great. But sometimes people get, we all get the stars in our eyes, like Jay said, and we just want to do this stuff. And it's just like, look, it's not for everybody. It's not easy. It's hard. It's a hard, tough task. And, you got to have a really, really thick skin, Let's see. Rob says there are times when reality needs to be acknowledged. Yes, which is why my magnum opuses will likely never be made properly. I recognize myself that what I had written when I was 16 is just not a good project, but put out there for many reasons. I succeeded better when I was making other worlds from scratch.
There you go.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
All right. Cool. Jay, did you answer the question? I don't even know.
Yeah. I went for it.
All right. Good job. I don't even remember. Okay. Tom, do you have a question?
Okay. So this isn't the usual deep introspective one that I bring to JD's, but it's something that I've heard some people talk about lately. And because of the society that we're in, which is basically ADHD and we only read headlines, and I've heard comic book creators coming in saying, comic book readers only want one-shot stories now. So I'm only going to do one-shot stories, not doing series anymore. And I'm like, I mean, for me as a reader, it's like I'll read a one shot, but I prefer a story that keeps going. All of us here have stories that are continuous. So I have done one shots, but they're all within the context of my larger series. Like I have my Critter series, and I've done one shots for the other characters, but they relate back. So this is just a curiosity thing. Is this something that you've had any sort of hearing about? Like, hey, I think maybe we need to change what we do here. I mean, even the current Batman run right now, the Matt Fraction run, is basically each issue is an individual issue with only just the tiniest sort of continuity thread, but everyone is designed to be like, it's just a new story here. So have you heard any of this in your world? What is your thought process on the one shot versus the ongoing? And have you attempted either or?
Sean, you're up.
I mean, I've definitely heard that over the couple years that I've been doing it. So Recon, that universe is one shots that I'm doing. That was the second series that I started. So in essence, I'm doing it kind of weird though. So I'm doing 3 one shots that actually tie into a finale. So like those 3 different stories or different timelines, and then it's going to be a finale of all 3 of those. And that is my biggest one that I've done so far. I had 200 backers on that, and I hit over $5,000. Which is my biggest out of the 7 campaigns that I've done. So yeah, I mean, I just wanted to tap into that because people have been saying that and seeing how well it would do. I don't know if it was because it said one shot on the page, or if it's because of what the actual book is. Robots and zombies. Everybody likes robots and zombies, in my opinion, anyways. So maybe that was a big factor as well, or all of the above. But I'm definitely not scared of trying something different that people are saying will work, that I can get more eyes on, and a different audience that I don't already have. So yeah.
You could have like doubled your money if it was robot girls versus zombie girls.
That's true. That story's about my daughter, so that would be kind of weird at that point, because it's the Recon and the little one is the story, so it's my daughter as a 6-year-old being protected by a robot. That'd be kind of weird, but yeah. But yeah.
Regardless, good job.
Yeah.
All right, Rob, what are your thoughts?
I mean, I've heard like some people say that. I wouldn't say that's like a prominent thing that I've been hearing, but personally, I don't like one shots unless it's tied into a larger story or universe. I mean, for me, like I would much rather read an ongoing story. I kind of like that. It's like being able to hang on to something and then keep going. I think, one shots. Yeah. Like even like back in the day, Spider-Man had a couple, let's say the Marvel and DC did their one shots, and then they had like a big story arc, and then one shots, just kind of filling time. Right. I always found that like, this is an example like that pissed me off about watching Smallville. Was you had the longer story arcs that they were building up each season, but then they would have those filler episodes that had nothing to do with it, and in between something that they left a cliffhanger for, just pissed me off. I'm like, why are they giving me this garbage filler? Just because they got signed to like 24 episodes per season or some BS. But like that's kind of how I feel. I feel like they're fillers, or if it's a one shot and then that story's done completely and no one else is going to come back and visit it. To me, I'm like, all right, well, I'm not going to invest my time into that, because if I get hooked on it, then I can't go anywhere. It's like eating at a restaurant one time and then you fall in love with the food there, and then they close immediately, and then you can never have it again. So I kind of feel like one shots do have their place in certain things. Like for example, if you do a crossover with somebody, an actual one shot crossover comic, that's cool, because then you get to experience both worlds, from a new perspective. But then you could also jump into those universes of the ongoing series, right? But yeah, I mean, I like Frank Martin. He's a great guy. He's a great writer, but he does a lot of one-shots. And for me, it's like, it's frustrating because he's always jumping into something else when like he's got something that's good that he doesn't continue to like build off of, just because I don't know if he has writer ADHD or he just likes coming up with so many different ideas or what. But yeah, I mean, that's my take.
Cool. David, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I'm going to go right back to what Rob was talking about with my ADHD. The whole reason that I set up my one-shot series is, for one, because I had all these ideas, and we were talking about making fun of notebooks. My whole life is notebooks, just writing it down, and having that list like, oh, that's a good idea, let me write it down. Oh, that's a good idea, let me write it down, and then hoping that I'm able to create something with it. Well, when I started The Offspring, one of the things that I kept hearing was that it's hard for people sometimes to be able to jump onto an indie comic book that's going to be more than an issue, 2 issues, 4 issues, maybe even 10 issues. So my thought was that I could use my one-shots as kind of like a bridge. So people could say, I want to check out this work, but he's got 36 issues of The Offspring, but he's got these one-shots. Let me buy a couple of those. And let me see what he's doing. Let me see the work, the artwork, the writing, my style, that stuff, in the hopes that it'll create a bridge to The Offspring. It'll create a bridge to my graphic novels. What I found is, over the last 7 years, 5 years really, of having one-shots, is that both is kind of true. People will pick up the 8 volumes of The Offspring and then continue reading my stuff with the one-shots and the graphic novels, and then vice versa. They'll pick up a couple graphic novels or a couple one-shots, and then they'll jump right into The Offspring. So it's, for me, it really has been just an opportunity to tell stories that I would want to read, that I want to create. That instead of sitting and complaining about the new Star Wars, the new Star Trek, the new whatever, the new this, they made better stories when I was a kid. Oh, I wish they did this. I wish they did that. I'm not in charge of any of those stories. Their stories are their stories. I'm going to watch them. If I like them, great. If I don't like them, great. But I wanted to use that energy in my brain to be able to make stories that I like. And if people like them along with me, amazing. If they don't, that's fine too. It really is just about getting out that creative part of me, so that 50 years from now, if my great grandkids pick up, the omnibus of 1, 2, 3, and 4 of The Offspring and read it, they're like, great grandpa made this. That's cool. Maybe I want to do that too. And then who knows? My lineage will be the next Stan Lee because of what I've done now, in the hopes that I sell books along the way.
All right, cool. Jay, what are your thoughts?
I think it all comes down to execution, dude. Right? If the one shot it's good and it's beefy, and it's an indie book, okay, because how many indie books ever get to complete an entire arc, let alone a mini series or a series? I'm down with that. If it's a reset, like when Chris Claremont used to have the X-Men baseball stories in between arcs, okay, not bad. But if there's something to the one shot, like I remember when Mark Greenwald passed away, Marvel did a special one shot of Hercules and the Hulk traveling through Elysium. It was a one shot. It wasn't 48, but it was more than 32, somewhere down there, and it was dedicated to Mark Greenwald. Okay, that is the favorite of mine. Are there shitty ones? Yeah, there's shitty ones. The ones that are poorly executed. Yeah, those are the ones I don't remember. I know it happened.
Which ones are shitty, Jay?
Name names.
Yes, all of them.
Are there unintentional one shots? A lot of unintentional one shots. A lot. Like, I'm so happy to see where Sean is at right now. I am, because, I met him at AwesomeCon in DC, right? And he came over, and I know what it's like being on the other side of the table. And it takes a lot of chops just to show off your stuff, right? But he's a rarity. I don't know how many times people have showed me their book, and then that's it. And those are the unintentional one-shots, right? They were able to put off 16 pages, and it's just like, all right, that's it. And then they're out of it altogether. They're not even buying books anymore because whatever happened with it just dashed all their hopes and their dreams. So yeah, I mean, if it all comes down to execution on one shots. But when it comes to having my ear on the ground, to the ground, and knowing whether that's what people in the community are talking about, or they want one shots, I don't know.
Yeah. For myself, like, I do enjoy one shots, and like Jay said, it's about execution, right? One of the series growing up that was one of my favorites was the Marvel 2-in-1s and the Marvel team-ups, and they were pretty much all one shots all the way through, right? Yeah, and I mean, and listen, man, I mean, it's funny how Thing fell out of favor, but Thing was the man for the longest time, right?
He was, yeah.
And that was like one of my favorite characters for the longest time. And I know for Oswald, I have several one shots, right? And usually those it's funny because I put those up just about every campaign, and I list them as a one shot. And every campaign I'm selling 3, 4, 5, 6, up to 10 copies per campaign per one shot, right? Because I think people are just like, oh, they'll buy the regular level and they'll be like, oh, I haven't read this one shot, and they'll grab it. You know what I mean? Or they're new, they'll grab that one shot. And I have like 3 or 4 of them. So I think they're important, because not just as, I think for us as writers, right? We should all learn how to write a truncated story, right? And it's not just one shots. You should try to write a 4-pager. You should try to write a 1-pager. You should try to write, an 8-pager, 12-pager, 16-pager. Those are things you really should try doing on your spare time whenever you get the opportunity. Because you're gonna find yourself thinking in other ways on how to get those stories compressed and in there and telling a complete story, right? And it's just flexing another creative muscle. Is just really important to try to do that stuff for yourself, because sometimes you do get locked into telling the 500 issue epic, right? Which, to David's success, congratulations that you were able to do that. Not a lot of people can do it,
Yeah.
On Oswald, I'm 2,000 pages in. I don't know what that correlates to per issues, but whatever. It's a lot of pages. But not everyone has that in them to keep moving forward. That intestinal fortitude. It's difficult. So I always suggest to people, try that, one shot, because I think it's important. Now, as far as like Jay was saying, as far as my ear to the ground, I haven't heard anyone honestly speaking about it, but I know it's one of those things that's whispered about in the background because I think people are afraid of them. So Tom, back to you. What do you think?
I mean, yeah, those great points. I hadn't even contemplated like the old stuff was one shots, but within a series like Marvel 2-in-1 and stuff like that. Yeah, that's interesting. I've heard some creators talking about, well, I'm not doing continuity and ongoing series anymore because nobody wants it. And I'm like, that's horseshit. Like, I feel like that's genuine bullshit. I feel like trying to convince yourself of that for whatever reason you may be convincing yourself. I find, well, number one, the comic book market is based on ongoing series. Even if they're only like 24 issues or whatever and starts over, people want the next one. They want the next one. They want the next one. Blah, 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 blah. You can have a mini series that resets, do another mini series. That's still a continuing series, right? Whenever I'm at cons, I struggle to sell the one shots that I have.
Really?
I struggle to sell the anthologies that I have. But when they see 5 critter volumes and 5 Oz volumes and 5 Penny for Your Soul volumes, oh shit, you got so much. I want all of that.
Yep.
They want to binge like Netflix.
Yeah, and then I'm like, well, so if you like all this critter, she's got 2 stories in these anthologies too, and those are add-ons essentially. Like, oh, okay, toss those in as well.
Yeah.
But it's very rare for people to come up and be like, oh, I just want those anthology books. Like that's all I want. Those one shot, 3 one-shot stories in the book. And so that's why it just was kind of in my brain. I was sort of like, what am I not hearing things that are happening? And clearly it's still just sort of a whisper in the wind that's kind of happening. And
I think it's just people making excuses for putting out issue 1s and then going to Kickstarter and putting out issue 1s because people buy issue 1s more than, like, let's say the sophomore issue, right? They're issue 2 kind
Sure.
of.
Well, and that's the Polito method, right? Mm-hmm. He everything he has is continuity, but every time he puts out an issue, it's number 1.
Right.
Even though it's technically number 20, 30, 40, 50.
Right.
It's Lady Death, Abysmal Descent, number 1. Lady Death.
Oh,
up in her castle, number 1.
He uses the subtitle, right?
Right. But then he also breaks those crowd-funded books, those like bigger, thicker books. He breaks those up into issues and puts them into the retailers.
Sure. Yeah.
More of an issue by issue there.
Correct. But when he was doing his crowdfunding stuff, everything was a number 1.
Yep.
And so people were sort of attributing that to that again, like, oh, look, it's just a number 1. It's just number 1. They're just coming in. And it's so, yes, but if you were to read the 12th number 1, you would have story that you'd be like, well, I don't know where I am. Like, shit's going on.
There's
I'm
no
in the
way
middle of the story here somewhere.
Where you are.
Yeah. So he's had to produce like a reading order so people can go backwards and figure all this out, because there's no specific way to, unless you're looking at dates in the book, like it's hard to figure out.
Or you're going back and looking at his Kickstarter or crowdfunds and saying, okay, that's this one.
That's this one. That's this one. That's this one. Yeah.
That's nothing new, because Mike Mignola was doing that with Hellboy, right? He was cherry picking the timelines within his stories, and they weren't always, 4-issue minis or 6-issue minis. I remember The Island was a 2-issue mini. I think there's a couple one shots in there. I think there's a couple of mini backup stories that were placed in other books, that he collects into his trades. So it's
but he's moving from place to place. What I'm saying with Polito is he has A, B, C, D, E, but it's all presented as 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. So if you come in on number D, number 1, you'll be kind of like, I feel like I'm in the middle of something here.
Yeah, I do something similar to Oswald, where there's there's an overarching plot, but there are a bunch of smaller stories in between. So I'll do like issue 1 through 4 of one story. Then I start with the number 1 is issue 1 of 4.
Recurring miniseries. Sure. Absolutely. Yes.
But what's funny is I don't know where Polito picked it up from, but the first person I remember doing this sort of thing is Barry Blair from Elf Lord. And this was way back in the day. And what Barry would do is every issue number 4, he would cut the series and there would be a new number 1. And the thing is it would just continue. Like it would just continue. And he did it because he knew he would get a bump up every number 1.
Right. Yeah.
So DC New 52, right? Everything got reset, but Batman and Green Lantern. It was a new number 1, but it was still the arc from continuing the previous arc from DC.
Yeah, that was always a weird thing in continuity for me, is like how that actually worked out for them. But
but he's the first creator I ever heard doing that, Barry Blair. So we might be able to get that back to Barry. He's no longer with us. God rest his soul.
Get him on.
Listen, I don't have a Ouija board.
Wah, wah, wah.
There you go. Well, you have to bring him on. So, all right, Rob, what's your question? I'm only joking.
I was gonna say I wasn't prepared. A pop quiz.
No. All right, let's say we got a couple of minutes. I'll ask a softball, right? Real softball one. When you find yourself winding down creatively, what do you do to recharge? Right? What do you do to recharge? Rob, you're up again.
Winding down? Who does?
Yeah, like if you find yourself winding down, or you find yourself not in the right space.
Rob's better than all of us. He's always on.
No,
Yeah.
I wouldn't say I'm on, but I'm always doing something. I am definitely a workaholic. I honestly, I think I do too much. I do need to take a break because I have been.
You were just in Disney World. That's all the break you need.
Oh, that's fair. That's fair. But even while I was there, I had my laptop for the evenings.
Gotcha.
No, I honestly, I think my downtime, when I do actually kind of take a break, I will pick up a video game or an old video game, or I'll play with the kids. Go to the movies or something. Just general stuff. Pick up a comic. That's my recharging is my recharging of what inspires me to do this in the first place, right? So reading a comic book, playing a video game, watching TV, watching a movie. I don't get as much time as I used to do it, but I still do it in the any given time that I can. And that's really going back to the inspiration, or even just like maybe finding something new that helps re-inspire.
All right, that's fair. David, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I'd say, it's important, just like Rob said, it's important to have that downtime. I anytime I start to feel like I'm not getting something done because I'm sitting, watching a show or playing cards with my kids or whatever it is, which is super important time. I always remember that those times are a chance to breathe, to be able to get back to it. If I am really trying to work, but I just I'm not in that headspace, I try to always make sure I have some backup work, whether it's maybe one or two like pinups that or covers that I haven't done yet, or something that just kind of keeps me in that space of creating. I try to have something as a backup if I'm not ready to do like the big stuff, like finish, inking page 25 or page 50 or whatever of whatever issue. I try to always make sure I have a backup so I can put that on the drawing table, and I can kind of do that and get myself and know that if I mess this up, the world's not going to end on anything you do. But to kind of have that there and kind of get myself back revved up to create. And usually, like if I have a few hours to myself, I'm gonna be at my drawing table drawing. Usually having those little backup, like plan B, plan C things to do will help me like gear up, and that'll get me thinking, and that'll get me moving, and that'll get me going to be able to go, okay, this, halfway done with this pinup or this promo post or whatever it is. Now I'm ready to pick up that page now that I was kind of ignoring, because I wasn't sure if I was ready to do it or not. So really, it's just for me about always having a plan B, a plan C, to be able to know that even if I'm not in the mood to do the thing, I have other things to do.
Okay, fair enough. Sean, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I just love stories in general. So recharging is either watching a show, watching a movie, video games. I mean, this weekend, there was a lot of downtime because snow and ice, whatever. We were really just hanging out in the house, doing whatever we wanted, the family. So I read like 4 volumes of different comics. That's not what I normally have the time for, but when I can, I do, and just draw inspiration from those. I'm taking snapshots of certain pages. Oh, I like that layout. I love how they did how many panels. Like I definitely, since I started writing, I realized when I'm reading comics, I'm also counting how many panels they're able to fit in a page and see how nicely they did it or whatever. Bubbles, taking, whatever. But yeah, stories all the time. But other than that, hanging out with the kids after work, and the wife, and then she's watching the stories with me at night. So there's always a plan, and I always have like something small that I want to do for the Kickstarter or for the next story or whatever, that if I can just check that off the list for the day, then I'm good. And I feel like I've accomplished something, and I can continue on with whatever story and try to relax too.
All right, cool. Tom, what are your thoughts?
I mean, it basically, it's like the other folks have said. I'm big into movies and stuff, so I watch a movie almost every day now. Either at the beginning of the day, if I'm feeling like I got to write superheroes today, I don't know what I'm doing, I'll watch like a superhero movie. I'll watch Captain America or something just to kind of put me in, like, okay, this is the world I need to be in today. So let me go in and absorb. And I'm not watching it to watch it. I'm watching it to look at the camera angles. I'm watching it to listen to the dialogue. I'm watching it to, to take me through the process of the movie. Something that I've already seen, so I can examine it a little more and get a little deeper into how they made that. And then like with Sean too, comics as well. I'll go into comics that, have artists that I'm like, God, this guy really did something, interesting with this series. I love how he does vertical instead of horizontal or whatever. So I'll kind of go in and not so much read, but again, just sort of study and try and absorb what I'm seeing so that I can translate that to, to my work when I finally get down to the table. So I'll either watch a movie like at the beginning of the day, like I'll have lunch and watch a movie and then go to work. Or if I'm just ready to work, I'll usually work. And then when I kind of feel that I hit that wall of scripting and doing whatever else, then I'll stop and I'll go watch a movie and I'll go to bed. So kind of, there's always sort of like I'm watching something. So my brain is always like, it's not focused on scripting or what I'm doing, but it's always in sort of the storytelling absorption mode of like, oh yeah, let me, I'm going to watch that tonight. I'm going to think about it. We'll wake up tomorrow and, use those camera angles in my script or something like that. Yeah.
Cool. Jay, what are your thoughts?
All right. Everything that everybody said, but I like to do the action figure photography thing. I like to dress a set. I like to put things together. It inspires me, dude. Right. Tom was mentioning camera angles, and it's just like when I find that right angle, sometimes it sparks something that brings me back into story development. It's like, how did we get there? What are they doing? What are they thinking? What's lurking around the corner? What happens after this? And it just, boom, it triggers me. So those things behind me, it's not just because I'm trying to recapture my childhood. It's also because it helps me wind down, but it also helps to spark the imagination.
All right, cool. It's funny for myself, as much as I'm heavily into character development, it has a lot to do with, I like to go back and either read or watch something that has a lot of world building in it, right? So I'll go back and I'll watch something like Labyrinth or Legend or Conan, the original one, and things like that, old 80s movies, Dragon Slayer, Excalibur, and also Miyazaki films, Princess Mononoke, that sort of thing, where these worlds are complete and they pull you in, right? And you're in there, for that period of time, and that sort of thing helps me reset. And it's like, okay, that's cool. And then I'll go back and that's why I'm always kind of like on the search for those types of movies. They're not, there's a bunch of them, but you gotta find them. So that's usually what I do, is just try to find that reset, that world reset. So there you go.
Thundar the Barbarian is on Tubi, and Thundar the Barbarian is a great example of that. I think it only lasted 2 seasons, maybe, but it's a great series.
18 episodes total, I think.
18 episodes, yep.
It's still a classic. I mean,
the first episode is about finding the robot Kong from the 1977 movie.
How great is that?
Yeah, awesome stuff.
Yeah, another one.
Okay. No, I was going to say, if you like Thundar, don't sleep on the Planet of the Apes TV show.
The cartoon is kind of better. The TV show's okay, but the cartoon is way
right. It's just, what? I remember they found, the old New York City subway system, stuff like that.
That's all anybody ever remembers is that one episode. That's my point. But the cartoon is really deep. I mean, it's really it's a mature cartoon.
Yes,
and
yes.
You can find it on YouTube. Yeah.
Well, I got the set. And nice. Hearing the guy who did Fred Flintstone's voice as an overbearing military leader, you're like, oh, okay, that voice works for this too.
Yeah, the one.
Another
the
great
I
one on
really-
Tubi that's good build world building is Pirates of Dark Water.
Great.
Oh my god,
great,
yes.
great,
Yeah.
great.
That's one IP that I would love to take on to finish.
Yeah,
Yeah, that'd be
Okay.
amazing.
Yeah, another one I enjoyed a lot was Inhumanoids.
love
Mhm.
that one too.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Love that one too.
You know, so we ever have a cartoon where you see the monster come out immediately, so it just starts murdering people. It's just like, yeah, right there.
All right. We're on the cartoon trip. There was one that I don't remember the name of it, and I know it was a 5-episode miniseries. It came out around the time that Parts of the Dark Water miniseries came out. And the guy had a shield
Oh,
Right?
Vitor.
where the shield split open.
Yeah, and he has this thing in it that he would throw.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so he
Vitor, the
almost used it like
Starfire
a glider.
champion. Yeah.
Yeah, boy, what's it
Yeah,
called?
dude. That was another one that I loved as a kid and was like,
It
Wow.
only went
ended
5
it on me.
episodes. It was called
Yeah.
what? Vitor?
Vitor, the Starfire champion.
Look at that.
Vitor. Starfire champion.
Yeah.
Jay's been looking for that.
Calderon,
with
what do you
the
put
last 15
nerds
years.
on here for? Get nerds on your show. What are you doing?
No, that was a good cartoon, dude. That was on Fox. It was fucking money, bro.
Clearly good if they got to episode 5.
Dude, but you know what the problem was? It was only on when we were in school. So like we could like it would either you have to record it or play to be sick
Mhm.
to watch it.
Damn.
Yeah,
All right.
yeah.
All
Oh man.
Very
Yeah.
good. Oh, well, gentlemen, we made it to hour 2. Good job. All right. So this is a lot of fun. Thank you so much for being here. And let's start with Rob. Please, where can we find you and your work, sir?
Yeah, you can find me at Lone Wolf Comics on Facebook, X, Instagram. You can also find me at Rob Multari on all 3. You can go to that very long Kickstarter link, but the short version is nightwolf.lonewolfcomics.com. And you can go to lonewolfcomics.com if you want to pick up some back issues and all that fun stuff.
Hashtag Laser Blast. Love it. It's
There you
happening, Jay. It's happening on every show now.
There you go.
I'm never
We're
gonna
just
escape
gonna
that
have to
fucking
accept
movie.
it.
I'm never gonna escape that fucking movie.
It's funny. I forgot to mention the world that Laser Blast was building. You never know.
Yeah, there's a lot going on.
Nice.
Staying away from
There you go.
that. Staying away from that, buddy.
There wasn't a laser blast like the 80s laser gun game, right? There was a cartoon for that, wasn't there?
Laser
No,
tag.
laser tag.
It came out at the same time as Pac-Man and Q*bert and what was the other one? Like Super Mario Brothers had one. Did it
No,
come?
laser,
Wasn't there a
laser tag had
laser
a cartoon
tag?
also.
Yeah,
Laser tag had a
Laser
cartoon also.
Laser Tag did have a cartoon.
Donnie, what's up, brother?
Donnie, one day
Great
we're
stuff.
gonna have you pronounce. We have to bring you on the show so you can pronounce your name for us. All right, because none of us can pronounce it correctly.
Hollywood Jaha.
No,
I don't know.
Hollywood Jaha.
Hollywood
Maybe
Jaha,
you're
that's
right.
It's
I don't
Hollywood
know.
Jaha.
Maybe the J is silent.
It could be. It could be. I have
he
no
told-
idea.
Dude, he pronounced it for me. The last J is pronounced like a Y, bro.
All right.
Come on, Donnie, back me up, bro. I'm trying to rep you here, kid. I'm trying to rep you.
All right. So I'm sorry, David. Where can we find you and your work, sir?
Yeah, sure. Correct-handed comics, correcthandedcomics.com. Here's a little logo with my name on it. Find that blue left hand, that correct hand, and you'll find links to everything I've ever created. Correcthandedcomics.com. Don't get left out.
Hey,
Nice.
I like that.
There you go. Sean, where can we find you and your work, sir?
Socials, I'm Sean Wood _writer on pretty much everything out there. But The Fog Within Volume 1 is live until the 6th of February at 8 p.m. And I'll just keep on being on Kickstarter after that too.
All right.
Cool. Tom?
Facebook is where we do most of our social media, but we have Instagram and that stuff too, if you want to do that. But this is pretty much where we do it. This and Patreon. So if you want to get on in the behind the scenes of Big Dog Inc., we have our Patreon / Big Dog Inc. If you like gunfighter westerns, Dorothy Gale goes live this Wednesday night, January 28th, 9 p.m. Eastern time.
All right, cool. Jay.
UnstoppableComics.com. You'll find all my social media links on the website, UnstoppableComics.com. And then Friday nights, hanging out with this guy over on Comic Book Streamland. Sundays with this guy, sometimes this guy. Sometimes some of you guys not there. And whatchamacallit, we're just talking about comic books. We're having fun, just like we do in this show. Sometimes butts each other's balls. Sometimes
Comics and Laser Blast Friday nights.
We're staying the fuck away from Laser Blast. If you want to see me get tortured over the movie Laser Blast, watch on Friday night, okay? And sometimes we give away free stuff. Well, you know what? We've been giving away free stuff the last 2 episodes. Maybe we got to keep on giving away some free stuff. I don't know. People are digging it. But check us out. And then Friday, the 13th in February, The Dead Princess Vicky Stakes launches on Kickstarter.
All right, cool. And for myself, you can find me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all those different places. Sunday nights here, Friday nights with Jay, like you said. And there you go. And soon to be returning with Rob every other Tuesday. Versa. All right. So, and just remember, everyone, please check out the show notes. In the show notes are links to all of these creators' campaigns and their websites. So please click on those links, pick up their books. All these creators are impassioned creators. They're all great creators, all doing fantastic work. So please click those links and buy those books. And thank you so much. And just remember, everyone, read more indie comics, especially ours. Have a good night, everyone. Thank you.
Night.
Good night.